they show that they're ready. So what do we learn from this comparison? First thing we learn is the Quran so beautifully, it doesn't pass the same judgment on the same exact action. In both situations, somebody sought permission. In Surah An-Nur, somebody sought permission. In Surah At-Tawbah, somebody sought permission. But when somebody sought permission in Surah An-Nur, it was a sign that they have faith. And in Surah At-Tawbah, when somebody sought permission, it was a sign that they have no faith. And so it teaches us something about the wisdom of the Quran. Allah is not just judging our actions. Allah is judging our actions based on the situation, based on the environment, based on your sincerity, based on your courage. You can't just say, well, it's not haram asking permission. I asked permission, what's the big deal? The deen is not giving you a black and white. It's not giving you a black and white. This applies even inside of our own families. There's times where your dad needs you, your mother needs you, your spouse needs you. It's an emergency, they need you. You know, there's a death in the family and everybody's being called. Yeah, I don't want to deal with my cousins. It bothers me right now, so I'm just gonna not show up. This is the time for you to show up. Nobody cares about your discomfort. This is the time. It's a death in the family. It's an emergency, you know. So there are times where the same exact thing is excusable, even commendable. It's a good thing. And other times the same exact thing is questioned by Allah and actually a sign of hypocrisy. This is a demand in the Quran that every believer actually exercise wisdom. We have to exercise wisdom in every decision that we make. Are we taking the responsible road? Are we doing what Allah actually would want us to do in this situation? Or are we hiding behind a simple fatwa? Because people like to hide behind fatwa. Well, it's not haram to seek permission. It's not haram to do this. You get any situation, you get yourself a fatwa, and it doesn't matter what the situation is, you want to get the same exact answer. And this is a disease that the ummah has fallen into as we got further and further away from the Quran. You know, hikmah, wisdom, has many facets. One of the dimensions of wisdom is that you can see the difference between different situations. You can see the difference between different situations. When a judge is a judge, and let's say he's a divorce judge, right? He sees one case, and he sees another case, then 10 years later he's seen 1,000 cases. But every case, if he's a wise judge or she's a wise judge, what do they have to do? They have to look at every case as unique. They cannot say, oh, here we go again. I've seen this before. No, you haven't. You can't judge this from a previous case because this is a unique individual. They have their own story. They have their own background. You cannot come with your presumptions. That's a wise judge because they're giving every case a unique opportunity. They're not presupposing. Now, look at what happens with us. You have a question about something. If someone does this, and if they do that, in general, brother, is it haram sometimes to disobey your husband, or is it haram sometimes to disobey your mother? Ask the question in the most general way possible, in the most generic way possible, and somebody would say, yeah, in some situations it may be halal. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to use this in the most unwise possible way. Because somebody told me it's okay. They don't know anything about my situation. They don't know anything about what I did, or what the other person's doing, or what the full story is, but I'm going to misuse it any way I want. This is what we've become. Just seek a fatwa from somewhere with general language. What do you say about someone who does this? And then you just want an answer. Can you give me an answer? And when people come and ask me questions like that, I say, I don't have an answer for you. Why not? I thought you studied Islam. I was like, exactly why? That's exactly why I don't have an answer. Because I studied Islam. Because that's not how Islam works. You can't just give generalizations. I don't know anything about your specific situation. Then they're like, I'm willing to tell you the whole story. Well, that's your version of the story. Then there's another person and they've got their entire story. What would a judge do? A judge would actually look at the entire case from every perspective before they say, this is the Islamic answer. This is the answer, right? But what do we want? We want to give somebody our version of the story and say, no, I'm telling the truth. I got you. You're telling the truth, but you also have feelings. You also have your own perspective, you know? And this is the kind of wisdom that we're missing. This is the kind of wisdom that the Quran highlights in situations like these. The same exact act can be a good thing, and the same exact act can be a bad thing, depending on the context. And if you don't understand the context, you would think the Quran is saying two opposite things. SubhanAllah. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us a people of wisdom and people that seek wisdom from Allah's book and the sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And may Allah make us from those who don't make quick judgments for ourselves and for others without understanding the requirements of wisdom. Barakallahu li wa lakum.